Royal Television. We inspire.
The COVID-19 has significantly affected women and girls in several ways. United Nations Women states that the pandemic is deepening pre-existing inequalities, exposing vulnerabilities in social, political, and economic systems, which are in turn amplifying the impacts of the pandemic. Across every sphere, from health to economy, security to social protection, the impacts of COVID-19 are exacerbated for women and girls simply by virtue of their sex. One of the notable effects of COVID-19 on women is the high rise in gender-based violence. This is 100% Woman. I am Temitope Oluleye. 100% Woman is a program that gives women a voice in the society, because a woman should not just be seen, she should also be heard. Also, according to the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance, women in political participation numbers remain low in Africa due to both structural and societal reasons. The COVID-19 pandemic has led to declared state of emergency status by many African countries since March 2020, with both a negative and positive impact on women in political participation, WPP. To expatiate on the effect of COVID-19 on women's participation in politics and governance is a notable organization, the Niger League of Women Voters, with one of their distinguished representatives here with me in the person of Folashade Anrosiola. I want to welcome you to the program again this morning. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. And I also want to reiterate that this episode of 100% Women is sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Nigeria. Now, let's get into this issue. Let's throw more light on this issue and enlighten us the more on this situation when it comes to the effect of COVID-19 on women's participation in politics and governance. What exactly has been the effect of COVID-19 on women's participation in politics and governance?
Thank you. If we look at the pandemic, the issues surrounding it, there's been a spike in increase of gender-based violence. There's been a spike in child abuse cases. And one that is more prominent that people cannot look down on is the issue of poverty. It has actually taken a prominent role. And how do we now relate this to women in politics? One can only empathize with someone that you understand. We're trying to, as CSOs, CBOs, network of civil societies, we're trying to push the VAP Act. But it's pathetic when you're looking at the House of Assembly in Kwara State. It's 24 male-dominated. So when you talk about somebody that has empathy, that will be able to understand the feel of what it takes to be abused sexually, of what it takes for a little girl not to be safe, even in their own house. Men might not really, they might have a feel of it, but they might not really empathize. So now, more and more, we're beginning to see reasons why women should be at the forefront of governance and political participation. The pandemic has actually affected, there are no political gatherings, it has limited activities. But we realize that issues like gender-based violence, issues like the girl-child rape, abuses of different kinds, and advocacy, fine. As it has its negative effect, it also has the positive effect. Because through this pandemic now, advocacy has been on the rise. People are more sensitized about what, for some people, they don't believe that there are spousal rape. They would like, how would a husband rape a wife? But through this pandemic, we are able to realize that, yes, it is possible.
But in the Constitution, Nigerian Constitution, there's nothing as such as...
And that is why we're actually trying to push the VAP Act. That talks about, the VAP Act protects both the girl child and actually the woman. Because when you look at it, when you even look at, starting from the police station, if a woman is sexually abused, if she's raped, you begin to look at the kind of questions that the people that are supposed to protect begins to ask, wetin you find good there? No be your boyfriend. Shebi you don dey go there before. Abegi, wetin happen? Tell us now. How can you say your boyfriend rape you? And these are the issues that we're beginning to say more and more. It was not in the open. People were not really saying it. But because of lack of activities, tensions, grief, hunger has actually spiked a lot of things. People could not, there's no more coping mechanism for people to actually adjust. So the next immediate person becomes the target. And as it is the women that bears the brunt. And so we are saying that when women are actually at the forefront, and they're saying that, let us see it from our perspective. A woman that goes through the process of giving birth, labor, childbirth, will be able to empathize with another woman that is facing similar things. Men do not know what is called labor. They can't even hold 1/10 of the pains that women go through. But a fellow woman will be able to talk about, when you talk about a child that's been abused, the man will it would even shift the blame to the woman. It is because she did not take care of them. Forgetting that women multitask. You think about the home, you think about yourself, you think about the children, you plan the meal, you do so many chores in your head, and at the same time, she could be financially abused, sexually, emotionally. There are different ways of abuse at which a woman copes. So we're saying that if there are more women at the level of decision making, it becomes easy to make laws that are gender-based, that allow for little relief. And that is why we're actually this is actually sponsored by ActionAid and Global Affairs Canada in association with League of Women Voters, Kwara State. They're doing it in 7 states and the Federation for League. And they're saying that it's about a project that is called Women Voices in Leadership. How we have to amplify the voices of women from the grassroots level down to the national level.
Now, why is it that till now there's still a lot of factors mitigating against women actively being given that representation in decision-making processes?
Okay.
What is the situation? What is the reason why till now women are still not being adequately represented when it comes
Nigeria is still a parochial system whereby they believe that the normal herd should be for men. Look at Kwara State, for example, now. They still find it difficult. A female candidate would find it extremely difficult, imagine, as a governor. Because they're going to bring the religious aspect to it and say that, will he be the one that will lead them for call to prayer? Forgetting that this is a multi-fusion of different religion. But they attach a religion aspect to it. There's actually the cultural aspect. If she's given power, will she be able to control? It's about control. Can I control her? Would she be submissive? Can I subdue her? Forgetting that until we begin to see leadership as complementing, where Tokwe is weak, I can be strong. And when we begin to synergize and we begin to work in tune with what our weaknesses and strengths are, then it's about having a common goal. This is about having women in leadership. I might not be educated, but I have a grip of people in the local, the grassroots. You have a voice because you have a tool and a medium. We could partner. We could see ourselves in partnership and are like, okay, come. I will speak the language that you will be able to translate to the audience. When men begin to see that when I empower a woman, I'm empowering my daughter. I'm giving voices to my wives. Now, the pandemic does not know political party. They are not bothered about party A or party B. It is about women, it is about children, it is about the boy child. But they fail to see it. And when you don't see it from the angle that when I empower you, I make my life much easier, then we lose the whole idea. And that is why economically women are suppressed. It's difficult. The kind of money that a man will be able to mobilize for elections, a woman will not be able to get that kind of money. Culturally, they begin to ask her why. Why does she want to? Why not give it to her husband? Forgetting that the man might not even have the kind of passion that the woman has. Now, you begin to talk about the religious aspect. Does the religious allow the woman to take the forefront? And I think that these are issues that we need to begin to look at holistically. And we begin to see it from a more branded mind perspective of like, if I empower my wife, I'm telling the girl child that it is possible for you to get to this level. Okay, now let me take it from the level of the biblical point of view now. Mordecai could decide to keep quiet, but despite the fact that Esther was not his child, but like an adopted child, he decided to push her to the direction whereby everything that she needs to excel was given to her. Now she became the queen. He could decide that, yes, because my adopted daughter is the queen, whatever is happening to the Hebrews, I'm not bothered about it. But he told her, he said, peradventure, this is the reason why you came to the throne. If you keep quiet now, salvation will come from another quarters. There's a synergy between the two of them. His push was able to activate the need for her to see that whatever she does is for a whole nation. Until we begin to see that our actions and inactions affect a group of people, either positively or negatively, we might not have headway.
Now, just to digress a bit more, do you think that the developmental setbacks that we experience in this country is as a result of women not being given adequate wherewithal to lead and take part in decision-making processes in this country?
Yes, until we begin to see gender issues as an issue of equity and balance. Whatever A can do, B can do it. Look at the medical. Look at any career. There are female mechanics now. There are female engineers now. Why is it difficult to open the political space and you have politicians? 2015 down was better. By 2019, it was as if women were fenced out from the level of party ticket and nomination. It becomes difficult. And when you don't see somebody that is, the way the feelings that women evoke are different from men. Women are sentimental, they are emotional. Men are practical. They see it from the way, but there's a sentimental part of a woman that brings balance to a situation. The way you react to issues. So when we bring the practical aspect, the emotional, the sentimental aspect, we have a well-balanced situation. Yes, I realize that the way it is now, they're still saying it from a competitive point of view. From a competitive point of view. So it's difficult. They're saying it as if it's a competition and not a complementary kind of thing. And until we begin to see that we're complementing each other, women will still, their voices might not get the kind of reach that they are getting.
Now, let's come down to the situation we're all experiencing globally. That is the coronavirus pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. Now, in the assembling with your own observance, what you've observed so far, in assembling the COVID-19 response teams, do you think women have active participation and are they adequately represented?
No, they're not. Because I was actually part of the team that actually monitored the relief package, the palliative materials. I think the total in whole, I think the percentage of women there to the percentage of men is it's like 30 to 70. And sometimes it's not as if women don't really want to come out, but there are so many barriers, there are so many bottlenecks. They like, okay, you want to start to be prostituting, you want to go and join the group of people that they can no longer be submissive to control. And now look at when they set up meetings. There are some meetings that becomes difficult for a woman, a married woman, to go to. So even when you look at it, for you, it takes people that their mind is liberated to a certain level. And so when you look at it, even in Kwara, the participation of women, even in the civil society, like, okay, it was the civil society groups that monitored the palliative, it was low. It was low.
Now, as an organization, the League of Women Voters of Nigeria, you being the Kwara State chairperson, now, what roles has the organization played in improving the active participation of women in politics and governance during this COVID-19 pandemic? Pre-COVID, we actually have the first our meeting. That was in February, March, about women voices in leadership. We did a lot of sensitization. We did a stakeholders meeting. We called the major stakeholders. That is the market women, the traditional leaders, women organizations from the religious point of view, political parties. And we're actually having another program on the 25th of this month. Now, it is actually a one-day stakeholders meeting, and it is targeted about how do we look at holistically. We begin to map out strategies towards 2023, and before 2023 now there's still news of maybe not, there's going to be local government elections. How do we begin to raise sensitization and awareness for more women to come out? When they come out and they bring out beautiful programs, I believe that definitely, and the party structure is actually made in such a way that it allows them, when you don't make ambiguous demands on them. Like the last one now, we're looking for governor, 22 million, senator, they were paying like 8.5 and like that. Where do you want to get that kind of money? But if you're giving like consensus of like maybe 50% off, there are some parties that gave free tickets to women, and they're saying like, this is our way of supporting you. We want issues like that. And we're bringing major stakeholders, INEC, Kwasec, the political parties, the religious group, traditional groups, the market women, the artisans. We're bringing all of them, the media, together. Let's have a roundtable discussion and a robust discussion towards how do we navigate this COVID time and plan for 2023. Now, are there other examples of your organization's initiatives to mitigate coronavirus impacts on women's leadership and participation in politics?
Yes, we're actually not living at that. We're actually into mentoring. We'll begin to talk to girls because the League of Women Voters actually target from the age of 18. When you are eligible to vote, and we begin to tell them from now, and we're not limiting it to 18 now. We're taking it down from like 16. What are your rights? How do you exercise your right? The leadership skill will begin to build in it. We were at St. Anthony's before the school closed down to actually start that. We're supposed to do a lot of advocacy call and visits to them, but because of the pandemic now, it has actually limited a lot of our activities. But we hope that with time we're going to walk around it to see how we're going to tailor our needs to meet the COVID-19 protocols, so that we'll be able to, it's not going to limit us, but actually we'll find a way to harness the situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, what would you suggest can be done by governments, parliaments, civil society, and the media to ensure that women's voices are more included?
I'll start from the media, starting from you. There are ways whereby the media is a voice. It's a medium that people uses. But there are ways that even the media sometimes, in a subtle way, they use derogative manner. You ask them, you see them where they ask a woman, how are you coping with being a mother and your political life? They don't ask men those kind of questions. That way you have segregated against her. You have actually made her look as if she's a second-class citizen. But if they begin to use the tool, the media, to be more gender-friendly, you don't talk about her looks. You talk about what she has to bring to the table in terms of intellect. what she's doing. But they concentrate about she's looking tired. You see the way they were talking about Hillary, she's this, she's that. They were not focusing on the main issues, but they're actually looking at subtle ways to bring down morals. I believe that the media could use. Thank God the governor is actually doing well in terms of women parts, but it is not enough. Until women are having issues, they're having the active role in decision making. House of Assembly would have been a beautiful platform for us to start. But the local government election is coming now. If we can have more women as council chairperson, I think it's a beautiful one. Or as councillors. From that way, it's from the ward level they begin to walk around till they're able to stabilize. They understand the all way around it's working. I think it's going to be a beautiful one. And every other stakeholders too. It's about opening up the bottleneck and allowing a free process. And not having bias against her because that she is a woman. Let it be that she's dropped on merit. That okay, because they did a general interview, she did not scale through, not because she is a woman. I did not pray to be created as one, but I celebrate my femininity because I'm unique, and I should be given the same equal access a male gender is given, the same opportunities, the same benefits, and not to be looked down on because of the fact that I am a woman.
Now, if you don't mind me getting just a little bit personal,
okay.
Of course, you did vie for some political posts.
Yes.
Recently. Now, what was your experience? And because you were able to see, go through the first-hand experience of being a woman actively contesting for a political post. What was your experience? Was it favorable? Was it conducive for you?
Yes. People were receptive. Number one, a woman coming out, they applauded my guts. But see, the times of the meetings are funny. There are meetings they set up and it goes far into the middle night.
Like how? What time?
Sometimes 12, sometimes 2. They don't. They're not. Yes.
2 a.m. in the morning.
Yes. And they call some impromptu meeting and they say, madam, is because we know that you're not going to be able to come. You understand the thing? Timing. Money becomes a major issue. Number 3, everybody, be it man and a woman, everybody would one way or the other have sponsors. Some call them godfathers. For a woman, they said he's sleeping with her. But they don't accuse a man. Now, they take it personal. They begin to look into your life. They ask question, is she married? God help you that you are probably a divorcee or like that. They say, how can she manage a office? Forgetting that there are men that probably are having the same marital issues. They don't look into that because polygamist is accepted. You understand the thing from the man's point of view. But these are the issues that they begin to look into. And they begin to dissect you in a way that they don't even do for your male opponents. They ask you, how do you balance being a mother, being a wife with your political activities? They don't ask a man how he balances being a father, being a husband with political activities. These are little subtle ways. But it takes a woman that has prepared her mind that whatever it is about proving a point. It is about giving back to the society or being able to give your best. Then you don't look at it. You look at it as side distractions, noise, and you focus on your because they will call you names. They will play up with your emotions because they know that you are sentimental, you are emotional. They make you want to cry. Then they say, "See now, what have we said? She's crying. She's petty." They call you bitchy. They talk to your person, trying to see if your resolute is still born or that you will chicken down. But it's about, if you're going into the thing, have you prepared your mind to give it everything? And you see it as a project that you must actually succeed in. It is not all the time that you win, but it's also a learning process that you know that, okay, given this kind of situation, how would I have reacted? For me, it was a beautiful experience. I was so thankful to God. I had men that supported me all the way. They were there as my cheerleaders. They were there as financiers. They were there as people that were making ways. It was, for some people, the experiences might not be that palatable. But for me, I think that maybe because of the fact that I also have a background in activism, it's been you fighting, a lone voice, fighting among men. So it's about you knowing what you want and you balancing it.
Now, there are women in Nigeria that are actively involved in the leadership of this country, from the senatorial level to the, state level, even local government level.
Yeah.
Now, these women, from your experience, what you've seen, do you think they really champion the causes of women or the services that needs to be rendered actively to women in the society? What do you think they're really doing what they're supposed to do?
They're trying.
Yes.
But when they are of a little percentage, when you're talking about 5%, what can they really do? It's going to be as if they're not doing anything. You understand? It's not going to be like, okay, now see the bill that was that was presented by Olujimi. She was like, the penalty for rape should be castration. But because she's a lone voice in the wilderness, it was suppressed. For some people, they would like, has she really done? She has done the best that she could. It would have been louder if our voice was amplified with voices of other women. You can imagine what it would be like for her, like 20, 25 women in that house. They would have been able to lobby one or two men to their sides. And it would have been like a certain percentage. But the way it is, 5 of them or probably 6 or 8 of them in the midst of like, what can they really do? But in their own little way, they're actually making that noise and they're actually raising that banner. So we can say thank you to them for holding forth, even in a very difficult situation.
Now, a lot of people do say that women do not support women. I don't know if you heard that before.
Yes, I do.
Women do support women.
And
I support women. Do you believe that is the case?
I say that is not true.
Okay.
When you see a woman, not a particular woman not supporting, or a group of women not supporting some women, there's a man at the background instigating them and telling them that what is she doing that you can't do better. And even if it is so, it is a norm that we need to push down. It is not about competition. It is about complementing each other. When I see that there are things that you have strength in that I dare not, but it's about, sis, this is me. How can we work together? When we begin to see it and we see that we can synergize, we can work together, there is a rhythm between us, it will be better. Yes, they've been saying women don't want women to go. But look at those histories. Look at those people pushing from behind. They are the men. You would have agreed at a meeting that Madam A goes for this, Madam B goes for. They agree, they go back home. Their supporters, their husband would say that you know that you are very stupid. Why would you agree? You have PhD, she has diploma. Why are you saying now? And because that she's been insulted, she's been pushed, she goes back and say no, I'm not going to agree. So when men begin to see that when they support women to be their best, they are the ones that will be the beneficiary. Because most of us don't even bear our father's name, we bear our husband's name. So they first refer you to your husband's name before they now ask questions. They will say whose wife before they say whose daughter. So it is about whatever you put in is what you're getting. It's enhancing you as a mother, as a wife. It gives a kind of training to your children. They see you as role model. Someone that they can look up to. When I was growing up, the likes of Titi Ajanoku, Leila Dangoyaro, Kairat Guadabe, they are the people that I look up to. They formed my mental being. I want to be the best that I can. Because Sarah Jubri was from Kwara State then before it was separated to Niger. I looked at her, a lone voice. She's fighting there. She's all there. I want to be like her. Tell me, how many role models do we have now? You don't have them. They barely exist. And even where they are, they're struggling to have a foothold. It's not a favorable condition. But we're praying that when we have more men the E for she's, that will champion it, that will make it better for us, then it will cushion the effect for us.
And real quickly, talk about the mission, the objectives, and what is available from your organization for women out there. That is the League of Women Voters of Nigeria.
In the League of Women Voters, we have a different department. We have entrepreneurial, we have our communication, we have so many educational, that there's hardly any thematic areas that you want to fall into that you don't. One of the things is to empower women to be better. Another is also for us to look at issues whereby women are financially, when you're financially empowered, it becomes very easy for you to be politically empowered because it is a tool. So the League of Women Voters is an all-encompassing organization. It's talking about when you begin to groom a girl child to see herself as a leader. You begin to work on her psyche. She knows that she's not a second fiddle. She's actually endowed with everything that needs for her to be functional. Then you come to the grassroots level, you tell them your vote is your power. Don't sell your mandate. Advocacy is one of our major cardinal points where we begin to tell women, don't set your votes. If you vote for the proper candidate, you also get it back in terms of structural facilities and the likes. So it's actually an organization that every Nigeria, irrespective of, and it is not partisan, it is for all women that are of votable age.
From the age of 18?
18, yes.
Okay, is there any contact information?
Yes, our office is in Federal Secretariat. And my telephone number is there for people that want to... and we're going to be having our program on the 25th of August. Okay. We're going to have forms, membership forms.
At what time and the place?
That's going to be 9 o'clock. It's going to be Mandate Hall.
Okay.
Mandate Studio at Radio Kwara.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. You're really a bunch of loaded with so much wisdom, and it blows my mind.
Thank you very much.
So I've been speaking with the Kwara State Chairperson of the League of Women Voters of Nigeria, really throwing a lot of light and enlightening us on the effect of COVID-19 on women's participation in politics and governance. Well, that will be it on the program this morning. 100% Woman. I am Temitope Oluleye. Join me next week, Tuesday, 11 a.m. for another episode of 100% Woman. Till then, please continue to stay safe.